once I connected with that, I realized I wasn't separate from God or source power. Sometimes we think we are, but the truth is, if you just go inside, like I always say, it's an inside job. You go inside and you find that you are connected. That sort of switched it for me, where I took a deep delve into understanding who I truly was.
So very welcome today again to this talk, and I'm very happy to introduce to all of you a very special woman again, and she has a different kinds of healing modalities. She's working with people, she's an entrepreneur, and she lives, as far as I know, in the environment of her dreams. And so I'm happy that you are here, and very welcome to the talk, Lisa Stafford. How are you, Lisa?
Hi, welcome. Hi. Thank you so much for having me, Bit. I appreciate you having me on here today. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Lisa Stafford. Yes, and I believe that I am in my world, in my rock star world. I am living my dream life here in sunny Southern California.
That's
because
wonderful.
I was originally born in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, which is one of the most northern cities in Canada. And so I grew up in a lot of cold and snow, like you can imagine -50, with wind chill factor and feet of tons of meters of snow. And so I made it one of my dreams when I was young to migrate south. And so here I am. I've managed to make it, and living in San Clemente, California, which is supposed to be one of the best climates in the world. So I get to wake up every day looking at the golf course and palm trees and the ocean view. So I think I'm doing it.
That's wonderful. I'm joining you. I just came back from Bali to cold Germany and Bulgaria. It's as well cold. And I said to myself, I have to move into a country where I never have to wear warm clothes.
Sometimes it can be real stylish, but at the same time, yes, the layers get a little bit, we have to constantly keep layering, peeling them on and off. So yeah. I kind of like being able to run around in my my bathing suit.
It's wonderful. How does it get any better than that?
Right? I think we should always be naked and free. Yeah. No, I'm just teasing. I put clothes on for you today.
Just for us today.
Yes, you got it.
Wonderful. So, Lisa, before you started being or becoming a healing practitioner or somebody who wants to be the bridge for consciousness for the world, what have you been before that? What has happened that you have chosen to go this path?
Well, a lot of things. a whole lifetime. Yes. Let's see. Well, I used to, when I first came down from Canada, I was following the dream initially to become an actress and a model. And so I really dove in that. I used to compete in a lot of pageants. I was actually Miss Austria in the Miss Hawaiian Tropic pageant. Yes, Guten Tag America. Well, because my original heritage is Austrian and German. So when I applied for the international pageant, I actually was able to represent Austria in Fort Lauderdale, Florida for the Hawaiian Tropic pageant. So that kind of kickstarted my modeling career. And then I was expanding into becoming an actress, and I was training in a theater in Santa Monica, California, a conservatory for 4 years. And during that time, I was studying, human behavior and learning um, relaxation techniques to be able to be in my own body on stage and not be so nervous, every time I went out, because when you are on stage, sometimes if you are trying too hard or you're not in your body or you're not connected to yourself vibrationally, it can come across as if you're acting, it doesn't look authentic.
Yeah.
So my acting coaches used to tell me, I would take all these different types of classes with regard to voice and movement, for relaxation purposes for the stage and for camera. And they would basically tell me I needed to do something else. And one day, one of my coaches said, you need to do some yoga, maybe come into your body a little bit more, relax into yourself a little bit more. And so I started set out on this journey with all different styles and modalities of types of yoga that I was working in. And at first I thought, the hot yoga, it's going to keep me skinny. I'm going to be sweating profusely. And, we need that for camera and stage to stay thin. It was more of an athletic endeavor. And then one day I had another girlfriend refer me to a different style of yoga. It's a restorative style of yoga. And when I went into that class, I did 2 classes in that, and it was so deep and relaxed in my own body that I realized this is what my acting coaches were trying to get me to do. This is where they were trying to get me to go, to this level of relaxation, of connectiveness to self. And so I kind of woke up a few months later out of a dream in the morning and decided, you know what? I love acting, but I had moved to Orange County out of LA. So it was a trek to go back to the auditions all the time up in LA. And I said, you know what? I really need to focus on how good I felt in my own body as I was practicing this style of yoga, and decided at that moment I was going to become a yoga teacher. And that was 22 years ago. So that really switched my life path and just sent me on a whole nother trajectory. Yeah,
Wow.
working in that realm. So I went from showbiz to becoming a restorative yoga teacher and therapist, and that was the first step there. Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful, because it's so wonderful that you're one of the person who did the change not out of intense pressure from outside, like an accident, car accident or something like
Mm-hmm.
I had a car accident 37 years ago, which took so much pressure on me that I had to change. But it was more or less your free will and your experience and good advices of your teacher, or of your people around you. This is wonderful. I would love that more people go this path without.
Well, I can admit there was also another layer. I had recently had a baby, and so I was experiencing a lot of lower back pain carrying around the baby, car seat and all the baby bags and everything. And I kept walking around. I was 33 years old, and I thought, why do I walk around like I'm an 80-year-old woman with back pain? So that was part of the motivation, as well as when I went into this style that I currently teach. It also took the pressure off the spine and opened up the conduit to consciousness and released all that muscular tension. And so I was able to self-heal myself from plantar fasciitis and lower back pain and shoulder and neck pain. So everything has all gone away now over a period of time of working with my own self and taking care of myself in that way. But yes, some pain was initiated as well. Yeah. Started in there.
Yeah. And as you know, as you just mentioned, if we are getting rid of pain, we don't remember that we had one.
Right.
And yes. I don't know whether it's with your clients. I experience that when I work with clients and they are getting healthier and healthier, they don't come back with feedback to say, oh, now I'm better. They just forget about it.
Right.
You have this experience as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had a lot of clients where, they've got sore back or sore hips because they like to golf for one thing. And I always say, releasing the spine is going to keep it open so that they can continue to golf, because if they have muscular tension and tightness in their hips are locked, and then they feel like they can't swing the ball. So all of a sudden they come to a few sessions or they come to a few classes. Next thing you know, they don't even remember that they had a back, trauma or pain when they came in, and now they're off golfing and they don't come back to class or they don't call me anymore because they've released their pain. So I understand, it's like a constant revolving door, and then all of a sudden they'll remember when they're out on the golf course, oh yes, I remember I couldn't even swing the ball a few months ago, and then they'll call me back and say I need to do some more yoga, I need to do some more classes. So yeah, people forget once they're out of pain.
Yeah, when the only reason to do something is to get rid of pain, then it's achieved, then it's the normal life again. So the normal life. So I experience, or I perceive you now, that something more must have happened, because when you say you got connected to your deep inner self. So I think this is a special experience. Do you want to share something, how it was for you and how it's still proceeding?
Absolutely. Learning is a constant thing. We're going to never stop learning. I feel like in my life, that's, always one of the goals, is to always keep growing and learning, expanding. So when I started into the master yoga program that I took, it was a 4-year long teaching. It was deprogramming and reprogramming of how we think and how we live. And so I went into a lot of deep meditation and did a lot of chanting, which is likened to like singing hymns in church. It opens you up on the inside, and then through that, opening up the spine and the body with using asana or poses or angles to create that inner opening, so we can sit for meditation and allow that silence in the space and openness of the conduit of the download of consciousness to flow through. Well, once I connected with that, I realized I wasn't separate from God or source power. Sometimes we think we are, but the truth is, if you just go inside, like I always say, it's an inside job. You go inside and you find that you are connected. That sort of switched it for me, where I took a deep delve into understanding who I truly was. And, so much more than just this 3D version of myself, but there was many dimensions, many layers. And, now I live in the vortex all the time, that energetic body, because I sort of grew and learned more about it as I was going through the teachings and the trainings. And then in addition to that, I've always been a fan of channelers, or like Michael Bernard Beckwith or Neil Donald Walsh, or Wayne Dyer, things like that, where I have this deep understanding that how we think also affects how we live. So that part of the matrix made up for me, not just working with the body, not just working with meditation, but actually working with state training, understanding emotional states and how everything is energy, and thoughts are energy, and energy creates. So as I went through these different mentors and trainings, it was another layer. It was just another layer and another layer of things that I've been able to offer my clients and students in that regard. So
it never ends.
No. and I'm okay with that, because in this lifetime, we've got work to do. If we get to wake up every day as a gift, it's like, all right, what do I get to give? What do I get to learn today? That's how I try to live anyways, most of the day. I'm not saying I'm perfect, because I'm not. I'm human. I'm human. I've got a color. I'm a human being. Yeah. There's a lot to how that all began. Just sort of connecting to myself was a big part of it.
Yeah. I think it's so important to share these experiences with people in the world, because we both are normal human beings, and we are involved in business, and it's a business as well. And we are struggling sometimes as well with everything what's around in the 3D world.
Mhm.
And so to be an example, to be somebody who says, okay, don't never give up. There is more. So it's more to you, to us. So when you are maybe in situation which are a little bit challenging,
Mhm.
do you have a special routine or something that helps you to align yourself with your soul, with your inner knowing? Is
Absolute.
what is in special?
Well, I learned, a lot of things over the years. But one of the things that I could shift myself quickly with, and there's a whole lot of things, but one of the things I use is breathing techniques. That I can find, I can shift my state, I can realign with, I always try to find one word that I want to align with. And my main word that I use all the time is peace. It just seems to always be the one on top, but even above joy or laughter or, knowledge, other things, peace is really where I want to be, and I believe that love and freedom together equal peace. It's just a universal law when you get that combination. So I will think about how does peace feel for me, and use the breathing techniques. I use a 4-point breath, or I use what's called an ujjayi breath, which is a yoga's full breath. That one I do laying down, other one I do sitting up, and it will literally recalibrate your nervous system and get everything to calm down. So that's usually one of the first things that I'll go to is the breath. And then there's obviously other things that I go to in order to shift myself as I move through the day. But we can always use basic things as well, like music or sunshine or nature, or an animal, petting a puppy, or all those things work too. But for me, I know if I just focus on my breath, I can get my whole nervous system to shift, and then from there my thoughts will shift, my emotions will shift, and then I can start to create from a cognitive and creative space versus a low vibrating space, which is always harder to create from.
Yeah. So would you recommend to someone, for example, to say, okay, remember a time where you really was in peace, and just to reconnect, to have this experience, and then, for example, use your word or another word just to remind yourself, and then take a special breath, for example?
Exactly.
Would you recommend?
Yeah, absolutely. Setting an intention about remembering to remember, meaning you're remembering the neurons in the brain or in the nervous system to realign. So you're remembering to remember. I know it's a little out there, but yes, I do. I will think sometimes about certain things that made me happy, or certain things that aligned with my peace. It will take you there a little quicker. Those are tools that you can always bring to your daily life to help support yourself whenever you might be going through a challenging time. Even just dealing with children, or boss at work, or coworkers, or a guy on the road who's honking at you. It's in God's hands. It's just, talking to yourself constantly, and
Yeah,
that's okay. Yeah.
wonderful. So
Yeah.
as well, everything around you,
Mm-hmm.
anger or something else, while
Mm-hmm.
driving a car or something like that, could be a reminder to us to be aligned again.
Yeah, it could trigger you, and that reminds you that you need to realign.
Yeah, not to
Yeah,
react, but to
exactly.
realign.
Well, you can react, but when you show up from the place of peace, you're going to react differently than if you were in an anger state of being. So the reaction is really the beauty of how we want to live our life is, are we going to react aggressively, or are we going to react softly and gently? At that moment you get to choose.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to have that awareness around, which is, it takes work and it takes practice. Yeah. And that's the only way you can do it. And there are many, many different mentors and teachers out there that you can learn these skills from. And, we're one of them, you're one of them, I'm one of them. But yes, I mean, it is a practice,
Yeah, it's a constant training. Yes, to when you act out of peace, you remain in a higher vibration than in a lower vibration of anger or frustration or something like that.
Exactly.
And it's really this time now where we can help people to raise their vibration and be in a better state. So you are using breath work as well, and I saw that you are as well teaching breath work. Would you like to share a little bit more about the teaching of breath work? Because I just learned the 9D breath work from Brian Kelly when I was in Bali. And it was really exciting for me to learn that. So I'm curious, how do you teach the breath work? What's all in?
Well, one of the ones I use it's like a guided awareness. So I usually have my students laying down for this one. It's called Ujjayi breathing, which is yoga's full breath. And I literally start with helping them to at least have an awareness of their normal breathing. And then once we move past that stage where they actually have an awareness of how their normal breathing is moving through their throat, then we have them just slightly clear the throat, and then you engage those throat muscles, narrowing it just slightly so you create a sound. And the sound is the key component to the breath. And if you listen to the sound, it's very similar to the ocean. And so I take you through a guided awareness where you are, slowing down the breath, smoothing out the breath, but at the same time, always just listening to the sound. So once you tap into that, then you're flowing out to sea. you're in with the flow of the ocean, the pulse of the earth. You're able to breathe in and out. Your diaphragm is like a balloon on the inside. When you breathe in, it presses out, and you can actually massage all your internal organs within your body. And then when you exhale, you're releasing all of that tension on the exhale, and you're just listening to the sound. You don't have to worry about how the breath is moving. You're just listening to the sound, and that's your natural sound. So that can be one of the tools I use with breathing. But I also do one sometimes, like say I'm on a plane and a child's crying or something's like irritating me on the outside. So I'll go inside and use what's called a 4-point breath. So that would be this is just a beginning. You can always increase the count, but to start, you're going to count in for 4, hold for 4, and allow it out for 4, and hold for 4. So it's a hold, breathe, hold, breathe. And so I could do a little demonstration. So it'd be like in for 4, and then you hold for 4, and then out for 4. But I like to just do it through my nose if you're not stuffed up. Your nose is really because sometimes it gets a little exerting if you're using the breath from the mouth. So if you can do it through the nose, that's always the better way to go. So it's in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. And that's the 4-point breath, which obviously you can always combine it with any type of guided meditation that you want to use and combine with the breath, or you can just do it in your own quiet way and listen. Again, I like listening to the sound of my breath because it makes me understand that I'm connected to everything. So it's just a choice of what you want to do. But that would be two of the main ones that I use primarily.
That's wonderful. And this is it seems to me like a kind breath. So it's not overdoing something. So when somebody is now listening to that, to our talk, he just can tune into it without anything that could harm him, or?
Right. It's supposed to be all about being gentle to yourself.
Yeah.
There are different types of breath work out there that can stimulate energy and get you pumped up and, energized. But what I do is for calming purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because to me, when you calm, you can realign easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have more modalities, Lisa. What else would you recommend our audience to be realigned or to train themselves to be in realignment with the inner soul or the inner connection?
Well, obviously using any type of modality like yoga poses. Obviously, you can use precise alignment to reach into certain areas of the spine that open up the conduit to consciousness. And when you remove those blockages, you feel lighter, you breathe easier, you're calmer, you have more peace. Everything is working like, it's like if your car parts are not in the right location, the car is not going to drive very well. So if everything gets back into alignment where the parts are supposed to be, then it functions on a higher, more easier, graceful, well, I call it the conduit of ease and graciousness. So everything will flow a little bit better if you can use some poses as well. I mentioned chanting, which is like opening up the breath and the voice. So that kind of creates an inner opening as well. But I also have what I call PEMA products. They're high frequency vibrating, it's called pulsating electromagnetic activation products. And it's from a company called Centropics. And it's actually in Liechtenstein is the main headquarters. And I use those products as well. We call it biohacking. So we're using technology to create a vibrational alignment or frequency alignment that we can just turn on and immediately relax into. So I also work with that company and supply those products to my clients as well. So we can use technology, we can use the old school, using nature or our breath or yoga, but then we also have this new side of things where we can also layer it with some technology. And then in addition, our food is always an important aspect to how we feel. So I say if we're eating good and, taking care of ourselves in a nutritional way, then you're also going to have inner opening or realignment with your peace because you're not in pain.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a whole umbrella, yes, under Lisa's Sweet Spot.
Yeah, Lisa's Sweet Spot. This is your name of your company, right?
It's all about accessing our sweet spots within, yes, and using that to heal ourselves and feel good, which is the point of life, I suppose.
Yeah.
On this journey.
Yeah, wonderful. And now you're going to become an author as well.
I am just like you.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
What I love about being able to share our stories authentically is also the culmination of coming together as a community of like-minded women where we get to share our stories, heal, and also uplift each other and support each other and cheer for each other. I mean, to me, that has been the little golden nugget in being part of this whole author thing. So I'm really excited about being part of that as well.
Yeah, the intuition book, there's this series of Rhonda with the wealth series. Yeah, it's a second book then, which will be launched in June next year. Yeah.
Yes, in Sedona. I can't wait. To me, Sedona is like a portal, I don't know, or a vortex, where we have access to things beyond what we can see. Sometimes, if you go into certain areas where you can just like around the planet, that there's a special place there where you're receiving a download of information or you're open to certain information that you might not receive somewhere else.
Well, exactly. And it's a perfect place for the intuition book. So you have as well a chapter within this book. So what's about your intuition? Are you as well channeling for your clients, or is it you just use the information you are gathering about the body and the vibration to use to find out the modalities, what the client is needing, or how do you work with your intuition?
Yes. Well, I don't really do channeling. What I do is I'll do mostly listening to the client. I listen to what they think they need, and then based on my own experiences or my own teachings, that I've created in my own download, then I will customize a program. I will discuss with them a program on what I think they should be doing in their own daily life to help them navigate whatever outcome they're trying to create. So that's kind of what I do, is I'll customize. With each client is different. Everybody is individual. Everybody is seeking different things. Everybody is working from different places. So it's never really one thing that, it's not really just one design. It's everything is always, adjusted for each client. But my intuition that I wrote about in my book, I learned from one of my mentors in state training, meaning STATE, like, internal state training, that intuition is also, it's more of like the bridge between. It's not, a magic 8-ball where we ask the universe, a question and we're going to get an answer. That's not how it works. It really is about understanding what is important to us. And when we focus on something that is important to us with great emotional intensity or focus, we can then understand what is important to us. And so because we're receiving so much information on a constant download every day, our mind needs to separate what is important to us. And so intuition is that separation where our mind will decide what's important to us. And then the rest of it that we're all downloading constantly gets stored into our memory banks. And then we focus with intense emotion on something that is important to us, and we will start to move in that direction. Intuition is that bridge that closes the gap between what we envision or wish or dream for, what is important to us, and then realizing that outcome. So that's what intuition is for me. So I've been working with that, and I see it all the time in my life, right down to this book. It was always in there when I was little, but now I'm like, obviously it was something that was important to me. I focused on it with emotion and intensity and focus, and here we are creating the outcome. So that's intuition in a nutshell for me, and that's what I wrote about in the book.
Yeah, and this is the reason why I found you. So it's like a chain, So
it's the little breadcrumbs that we get to pick up along the way, to find our way to the end. Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad I met you, and I actually did meet you when you were out in LA for the wealth edition. So I was really happy that we got a chance to reconnect. Yes.
Yeah. So Lisa, you gave already a couple of tips for our audience to calm down, to align themselves. Thank you so much, because these are the golden nuggets which everybody can choose if they want to out of our talks. And where can one find you if somebody wants to work personally with you?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking. Well, I'm on, I do have my own website company where you can go and check out some testimonials, some videos. I have things that I'm going to be offering more on there, but all my services are listed on there. And that would be at Lisa Stafford OC, because I live in Orange County, California. So it's lisastaffordoc.com. And you'll find Lisa Sweet Spot Inc. is the company name on there. And then, I just have my URLs on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. Again, it would either be Lisa Stafford or Lisa Sweet Spot on Facebook or Instagram. Yeah. So that would be how you would find me.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
So before we say goodbye, I always ask 2 questions at the very end.
Okay.
And the questions are, Lisa, what do you want or what do you wish for the world? And what do you want or wish for yourself?
Okay. Well, for the world, I wish everybody to be able to realize that they are sentient beings. They are light beings, and we are we are supposed to shine our light on others or on darkness. And that is kind of our goal that we need to kind of work from every day. If we can always just think about maybe bringing some light to somebody, making somebody smile, bringing some light to something that might feel a little heavy or dark. That's my goal for the world, is if people could realize that, our job is to shine our light. Like he says, Nelson Mandela, in his speech, it is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. So if we could tap into really understanding that we have a gift of light that we should be sharing with everybody, that's my gift. That was what I would want everybody in the world to know. And then the second question was for me about what do I want?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think working on myself and just taking care of myself has always sort of translated into me being able to take care of everybody else around me, my clients, my family, my friends. And, for me, that's what I always want, is just being able to be in tune with myself so that I then can overflow with love and give that to everybody else. That's what I want for me.
That's so wonderful, Lisa. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your time with us, and for your tips, and for the peace which you are bringing as well into the world. And thank you. Thank you.
I really loved being able to chit chat with you, and have a wonderful, super awesome, blessed day. And I look forward to seeing you in Sedona, if not Paris. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, it will be Sedona.
Okay. Well, take care, and I'll hopefully I'll see you on my YouTube show.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Click on one of the videos below to continue your journey, and tell others about this channel. And please subscribe.